Welcome everyone to our city review today. We're going to be talking about a few topics today. One of the topics will be discussing last night's city council meeting. We'll also be answering a few of your questions. Thanks for sending those in and looking over just a few of the things going on in the city this week. So join with us and hopefully we can give you some good information today. First, I'll start with the agenda from the city council meeting last night. A few things we had on here was mobile vending zones. So the council passed a mobile vending zone ordinance that allows some food trucks in town in certain areas if they abide by some specific rules. And what we did is they looked at several different ordinances from several different cities, took the one from Siloam Springs and we redid that one, and should have a pretty good rule of thumb that keeps it in industrial and commercial and allows the city to have some, but without overdoing it. There's also rules that can't be so close to another restaurant and other things like that. So they did that last night. Also, the water department put in to purchase a new vehicle on state bid. That was also approved, so they'll be getting a new vehicle. They were down a vehicle, and so they'll have another vehicle coming in the next couple of months to help the water department out. We also had a Friends of the Library Memorandum of Understanding. This is a nonprofit that helps our public library be able to buy books and do their yearly fundraisers and stuff like that. So it's just a memorandum of understanding that the city accepts them to do that and to work with our library director and the library advisory board and that type of stuff. And then we had Bank of Gravette had asked for behind the Bank of Gravette in the alleyway for part of that alleyway to be one way when they do their remodel, because they're going to move their branch drive-through over to the old bank when the remodel's done, and the city council approved for half of that alleyway to be one way in the near future, and that will be from 3rd Street to where a new road is going to come in off of 72, where the ATM will be moved to. That will become one way going east. And then we also had our 2-ton reappointment, which our water department and street department are on that as the main person. And then an alternate, they were reappointed. And then we had a few budget adjustments with the growth in town. We've had some increases in income and also some increases in expenses, especially in our building inspection area. And those were also approved last night. So that's a breakdown of the agenda last night. Oh, and then we had one more that was added to the agenda, where we had found that on a previous ordinance done a couple of months ago, there was a date wrong, and that date was voted to correct that date, so you guys would have the correct date on the ordinance. And so that was it for the city council meeting. All right, last week we asked you to send questions, and you did, and we thank you for those. We have 3 questions we're going to look at today. The first one is our new streets that were put in. We had a question. In fact, I had 3 questions, 2 calls to me about why the striping looks so weird on the roads. And again, as we talked about last week, this was a state bid, and with the state bid, the state requires that the contractor who's laying the asphalt has to put temporary striping down. So what you saw on the road, which kind of looks weird, was just tape, and that tape is put down temporarily until the striping company comes and professionally stripes the company, and that's usually there for a week, sometimes 2 weeks, until the striping company gets around. So that's why you saw the different direction tape put down, because all that is just tape that gets pulled up and then the regular striping gets down. Next question we have is right-of-way mowing and easement mowing. Why do people have to mow their easements in front of their house to the road? And this is an ordinance that's been on the books since 1911. It's ordinance number 66. And what we did is we looked at that. We also looked at what every other city does. And most every other city also has the same type of easement, right-of-way mowing, which means you just mow to the street in front of your house. If the city mowed every single right-of-way or easement all around town, it would take another 2, maybe even 3 employees in order to get that done. And so what the city council did is they just reaffirmed the 1911 ordinance. It still stayed on the books. They didn't do away with it. They just reaffirmed it with the new ordinance last month. And just to restate that, yes, this is the will of the city council and the city administration that we keep everybody mowing their own right-of-way and easements. And that would be from your house to the road, or which is where most property lines actually go, and there's easements there, but we do mow to the road and an alleyway if you have an alleyway behind your house. Then the third question we got, mainly with drainage on Baker. People want to know what's going on Baker Street, why do we have so much water? And we've been looking at this for several months, the developer, and of course this is not city property or city right-of-way. This is all private property, and on private property, unless it is actually a flood zone or a floodway, the city does not have authority on those properties. So they've looked at drainage several ways. It actually drains well once it gets there. It's just the amount of water coming into that area is huge, and I believe what they found is that there's some type of spring that pops up when it hits, and there's a massive amount of water that flows through, and then once it quits, it's all gone within an hour or two. But how do they stop that from going through the subdivision? The developers are working on that right now, and they think they've come up with a solution to help slow that down, reroute it to a drainage system that they built behind Baker Street. So hopefully within the next couple of months you'll see that happen, and the developers will be able to get that taken care of. We're looking forward to that because we have had a significant amount of rain this year. We've had several major rainstorms. I believe the city spent close to $60,000 just on repairing streets this year. So it's been quite a year for rain, and we definitely feel what everybody's going through everywhere in every city that's had this issue this year with rain, including us. And then last, I'm heading out today to board training, and I'm on several boards. One of the boards I'm on is Office of Human Concern, which they have 3 different sections, and one section is for public administrators to be on the board, including county, cities, and the counties that they run in. And I'm on that. I'll be leaving here shortly to go to that today and tomorrow for that training, and look forward to that. And then last but not least, thanks for joining. Send your questions in. Would love to have your questions. Again, send that to info@gravitar.com, or you can go send a message through our Facebook page. We'll pull a few questions out and answer them every time we do this. And again, working together, we can continue to make Gravit a great place. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.